21 things to do as a mom in 2021. I have several ideas here of ways that we as moms can live a simpler, more purposeful and productive life. And we all know that last year was a dumpster fire. It was just so bad, so brutal, and yet the end is not yet in sight. So here are 21 ideas of things that are really easy for us to do and will hopefully help make our lives as best as they can be in the midst of the ongoing craziness. Number one is to stop thinking you have to sacrifice your health and your dreams as a mom. We all had our own identity before we had kids, and it is so beautiful that we throw ourselves into serving our families. But at the same time, we all know that we are no good to anybody unless we also take care of ourselves. That's a lesson I have definitely learned the hard way. So in this coming year, I really want you to make sure and continue to put yourself first. Take whatever time you need to, have time for you, to indulge in self-care, to pursue a passion or a hobby that is uniquely your own. Number two is to smile more. Now, this feels, I think, hard, and it's oftentimes something that we don't feel like doing, right? We often think that we need a reason to smile. But the reality is that if we force ourselves to smile, research shows that that act actually causes us to release the feel-good hormones that make us feel happier. So in other words, we can improve our own happiness just by forcing ourselves to smile. Number three is to write down one good thing that happens to you every single day. Just take 30 seconds at the end of your long day. I know it's exhausting. You just want to crawl into bed, but take a second to jot down something that really did light you up that day, something that was good. And I love to buy a cheap dollar store planner for this, or you can use a notebook or whatever. But the point is that if you write one thing down every day, then at the end of the year, you'll be able to look back and not only have a record of some of those amazing memories you otherwise could have forgotten, but you also will see that no matter what bad may have come, you really did have a lot of awesome, positive influences as well. Number four is to simplify your meal planning. Especially if you work like me, it is really hard to keep up on a lot of the day-to-day responsibilities, and things like planning or prepping meals are just, I don't have brain power for that. So one of the ways that I have made this easier on myself is to first and foremost ask my husband for help, and we try and split up kind of who cooks on different nights. Second thing is you can at least have a set of rotating meals, maybe a week or two's worth, that you are constantly making over and over again so that it becomes routine and you're not going crazy trying to make any fancy elaborate recipes. We all know that there are lots of meal delivery services out there nowadays, or even if it just comes down to picking something up that's easy and fast on your way home, then whatever it is, make it easier on yourself. Number five. This is a good one. This is to stop giving yourself a hard time for doing whatever you enjoy, right? Whatever your guilty pleasure is. I used to really give myself a hard time for drinking coffee, right? Or for maybe scrolling Instagram and things like that. Obviously, we don't want to take those things to extremes, and it's good that we know that those things are bad for us in excess. But what I've really come to realize is that they fulfill a certain need. They have their own function and purpose. And so rather than avoiding those things or trying to cut out your guilty pleasure altogether, be more intentional with why you are drawn to that thing and what you are getting out of it. So for instance, I now set a timer and give myself a certain amount of time just to scroll Instagram every day, because all the more in the midst of the pandemic, it's one of the ways that I can get some social interaction and, that sense of relationship and community and friendship that's hard to come by when we can't meet up with friends face to face. Number six is hard. That is to let someone else do it. Whatever it is that you're dreading, whatever it is that you're tired of doing, or even if it's something you enjoy, whatever can lighten your load, we as moms have to get better at asking for help which I know is often uncomfortable, and we just have so many emotional issues around feeling like we have to be super women and do it all, or just, like I should be able to handle all this, or I'm afraid to infringe on other people. I don't want to be, a problem. But at a minimum, we need to accept help when it is offered, because so often our immediate reaction is to say, no, I'm fine, I've got it, whatever. But in reality, refusing to accept help just leads to burnout, if not bitterness and resentment. And nobody wants that. Number 7 is me. Oh my gosh. Number 7 is to buy yourself an outfit that fits. Now, we're not talking about spending beaucoup bucks here, but how many things do you have in your closet that no longer fit you? Things that you wore years ago, maybe even before kids, that you keep thinking you're going to get back into someday. Or ideally the reverse, you have clothes that are too big for you and you're just saving them, who knows why, right? Whatever it is, buy yourself something that fits your current body shape, wherever you are now. You want to feel good about how you look, and having the right fitting clothes is so important to do that. So get rid of all the old stuff, give yourself a reason to go get something new. Number 8 is to laugh at yourself. We are far too serious, and as moms constantly trying to keep it all together and juggle all this different stuff, it is really easy for us to forget to just laugh, right? To have fun. And when we mess up, it's all the more important that we laugh at ourselves and that we show our kids that there's no such thing as the perfect parent, right? We're gonna make mistakes. We all have those little oops moments, and that's just part of life. So more and more, especially if you're a perfectionist or someone that just takes themselves too seriously, right? This is me talking. We've got to be able to release that pressure off of ourselves and just show the world that we are comfortable with who we are, and we know we're not going to be perfect, and that's okay. Number 9 is to challenge yourself to learn something new. Whatever skill or hobby you have maybe thought about starting, but you've never actually made time for, or if it's something that you enjoy, but you want to learn to do it better, set aside time this year in whatever small little time increments you have to work on improving that thing. Really push yourself, because we all need that mental and intellectual stimulation. And yes, it's often hard, and sometimes we resist the challenge when we go to try something and we don't get it right the first time. But the pride and the feeling of success that comes over us when we actually do overcome the obstacles and push through and learn this new skill and see how far we've come, how much we've developed over time, that is priceless. And I want that for you. Number 10, let me know in the comments if you could do this, but I challenge you to let the dishes sit in the sink overnight. So many of us think that in order to be a good wife and a good mom, we've got to have this impeccably clean house. And yes, oh my gosh, I dream of that, but it is so not my reality, especially as a full-time working mom of 3 young boys. So you know what? We have to learn that the mess is okay. Things are going to get messy, and then they'll come back together. We'll get everything back in place, and then they're just gonna get messy again. So rather than, go ahead and push ourselves to keep the kitchen clean, or what I found myself doing was foregoing time with my husband or time with my kids at night because I was so focused on making sure that the dishes got done and the kitchen was clean before bed. I challenge you to step back, leave the mess, and go do whatever it is that is going to be quality time with the people you love. I promise the mess is still gonna be there the next day, but it's okay. You're gonna get it together, and again, maybe ask for help so that it's not all on you. Number 11 is to commit a random act of kindness. It's so easy for us to get so caught up in our own hardships, and I am super guilty of this because, yes, this past year has just thrown everything for a loop. But the reality is that so many more people are struggling than we are. And we need to have our eyes open to that. And we need to be able to spread good, to spread joy. And a really easy way to do that is to do something unexpected. Something as simple as just saying hello to a stranger, or maybe paying for someone's food in the drive-through line behind you, or looking for an opportunity to volunteer, sending somebody a text just to let them know you're thinking of them, send them a small gift. Let me know in the comments if you have other ideas for random acts of kindness, but I think we should all be much more other-focused in 2021. Number 12, woo! This is to bite your tongue. Stop complaining, stop gossiping, stop using your words in a way that is bringing harm to others or to yourself, because we all do this, right? And oftentimes we're doing it unintentionally. We're not trying to hurt someone's feelings, or we're not trying to be an Eeyore and complain, but it just is easy to kind of talk about the negative and focus on the hard things. Or if we hear something really crazy, we're like, oh my gosh, did you hear? Let's be really careful and intentional with what we are talking about, with not just the thoughts filling our heads, but especially then with the words that come out of our mouths. I challenge you to resist the temptation to say those negative things. Number 13 is to reach out to another mom who is struggling. And side note, all moms are struggling, right? None of us has it all together. None of us is perfect. None of us knows exactly what they are doing. And yes, sometimes we might look on the outside like things are going okay, but we can all use help, even if it's just that mental and emotional support of knowing that somebody else gets it, right? Somebody has been there. They're going through all the same things. So be on the lookout for that mom with screaming kids in the grocery store, or that mom that has her hands full, that mom that is exhausted and just wants someone else to give her a break. Really look for these opportunities to show that sense of community and camaraderie and support with other moms that you know. And the benefit of this, right, is that it's often a quid pro quo. Not that any of our offerings should come with a condition, but when we give to others, they can't help but want to reciprocate and give back. So win-win. What are we on? Number 14. Kind of going along with number 13. Number 14 is to share openly about your experiences, especially your personal struggles, whether that's with motherhood or something else. I've shared before how much I've struggled with things like, past depression or things that just I felt like a failure because as a mom, I didn't know how to balance work and life, and it's all hard, right? We've got so many questions, so many things that throw us, and we just need to know that we are not the only ones. So talking about our struggles is really beneficial, first and foremost, because it gets all of that out. It helps us express what was wrong so that we can process and release those emotions. And then the second benefit is that it facilitates that sense of mom community, because inevitably other people feel like you feel, and they need to know they are not alone too. Number 15 is to make a vision board. Really think intentionally about what you want your life to look like, what you want to stand for, right? And then put that up in a visual depiction that you can look at day after day to remind you to stay on track towards reaching your big goals and ambitions. Now, I did also make a previous video on how to make a vision board, so check that out if you need inspiration. Number 16 is to find some opportunity to get super dressed up. Most of us aren't really going places these days and don't have a lot of opportunity to get fancy, but we feel so good when we look good, right? We feel better about ourselves. It's shown scientifically that our attitude, our mood gets boosted when we like how we look. And the more dressed up we are, right? Not to excess perhaps, but just feeling good is really a great way to have a better day. So sometime throughout the year, hopefully you will have an event where you get to get dressed up for some reason, a wedding or an anniversary, a special date, a special occasion. But even if it's nothing formal, just take a day or several days, right? A day a week where you really do put yourself together. But that goes along with number 17. I challenge you, for the most part, to always choose comfort over aesthetics, right? Choose what works for you, what is functional, what you feel good in, rather than trying to look a certain way or fit in with a certain fashion style or, heaven forbid, wear something that is not comfortable. Life is too short to be uncomfortable. And so, with most of us working from home, or if you're a stay-at-home mom, it's really easy we just want to find this perfect balance, right? Between getting kind of lazy and frumpy, which is me many of the days, right? Check me out on Instagram, you will see all about it. But we also then want to feel good about ourselves. So again, try and find some occasion to look good, but also always prioritize comfort over trying to be the image of the perfect woman and perfect mom. Number 18, genuinely stop caring what anyone else thinks. Only you get to decide what is right for you, what is right for your family. And we are all constantly learning, constantly evolving. So yes, we are gonna come into experiences where other people judge us. Yes, we are gonna feel like we might be doing it wrong. We're gonna question ourselves, or people might question us. But the reality is that we are doing the best we can in the moment, and you need to be proud of yourself for that. So I really challenge you to set better boundaries in terms of other people's opinions, and make sure that you are strong in knowing who you are, what you stand for, and that nobody else's opinion matters but yours. Number 19 is really near and dear to my heart. That is to tell your mom how grateful you are for all that she has done for you, because I'm guessing that, like me, you now have a much better sense of all that she did for you over the years. Now, I've really been struggling because my mom has been pretty sick the last few years, and I haven't gotten to see her in well over a year, especially because of the pandemic and all that stuff, travel restrictions. But even before that, I suddenly realized what it's like not to have my mom there, and it just completely makes me appreciate, as I should have before, how very much she always did for me. So I really encourage you not to wait for something to happen. Don't let time go by before you fix any issues that you have in your relationships, and especially with your mother. Help her know that you see her, that you value what she did, and that you are so grateful for all that she passed on to you. I wish so badly that I could help my mom understand how much I now realize all the amazing things that she did. We're almost there. Number 20 is to go get your female physical exams. Go get whatever tests you need to do. We don't like going to the doctor, right? And it's not fun. And especially as you get older, you start having more and more of these not fun exams. But here's the thing. We need to be in good condition, good health, so that we can be around and living our best life for ourselves and be there for our loved ones, right? Our husbands, our families, our kids. So we need to be proactive about taking our health into our hands. If you have been putting off some of these exams, don't do that anymore, especially because you might have been afraid to go in the midst of everything going on in the wider world. Now is the time to make sure that you are in good condition, good shape, and that you are taking care of yourself, doing whatever you need to do to get healthy. Finally, number 21 is to really pinpoint what you want to be remembered for, and then take small actions, small consistent steps to move in that direction. This can be construed a few different ways, right? Sometimes we don't want to think about not being here. We don't want to go to that place where we think about what our legacy might be. We don't want to imagine dying or some of these things, but that mortality question can also infuse a lot of meaning and purpose into our lives. And so I want you to think about what it is that you are striving to offer the world, even if it's just what you want to give to your family, right? There's no right or wrong answer here, but please, 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 if you haven't already, think about what you are contributing to the world. And please know that it is never about what you do or don't do. I've mentioned so many other times that your self-worth, your value are inherent. You are so wonderful and meant to be exactly as you are. But you also have these amazing gifts that only you can offer the world. So take some time this year, figure out what those things are, and then really pinpoint how you are going to serve the world through the gifts you've been given. All right, I hope that you got some ideas from this list. Let me know in the comments if you have anything else to add. I'm so grateful that you are here. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I just really want to continue to give you tips and advice from my own experience, as well as from all this academic research I've done into how we can free up more time for what matters. We are too busy to waste our time, and as busy moms, it is all the more important that we are focused on living a life full of intention and meaning to us. Thank you again. I'll see you soon. Give this video a thumbs up and then jump straight into these others for more of my top tips. Have a great day.